Chapter 1. The Setup. Noah Grayson's hands trembled as he shut down his laptop, heart hammering against his ribcage. He had done it. The article was live. The headline blazed across the screen like a death sentence. Billionaire Tristan Wolfe's criminal empire exposed. He leaned back, dragging a shaky hand through his dark hair. His inbox was already flooding with responses, some praising him, others filled with veiled threats. But Noah knew the real storm was yet to come. Tristan Wolfe wasn't just a billionaire, he was the untouchable king of the business world, his power stretching far beyond boardrooms into the dark veins of the underworld. The apartment's thin walls seemed to close in on him as his phone buzzed. An unknown number. He ignored it. His breath quickened when a second call followed immediately. And a third. Get a grip, Noah. He stood and crossed to the window, tugging the curtain aside. Below, the city pulsed with life, headlights slicing through the night. But Noah's attention snagged on the sleek black car parked across the street. The tinted windows reflected the streetlights, hiding whoever sat inside. His stomach twisted. The knock on the door came next, slow, deliberate. Noah's pulse spiked. He stepped back toward the kitchen, hand reaching for the drawer where he kept a knife. The knocking stopped. Silence stretched unnervingly before the door unlocked with a soft click. What the? The door swung open. A tall figure in a black suit stepped inside, the dim light catching on the sharp cut of his jaw and the icy steel of his gray eyes. Tristan Wolfe. Noah froze. His heart hammered painfully as Tristan shut the door behind him. You've made a very dangerous mistake. Tristan's voice was calm, terrifyingly so. Noah lifted his chin. The truth deserves to be known. Tristan's gaze darkened. And now you'll face the consequences. Noah took a step back, but Tristan moved faster. Strong hands seized his wrists and pinned them behind his back. Noah struggled, but Tristan pulled him flush against his chest, his mouth brushing against Noah's ear. I'm not going to kill you, Noah, Tristan murmured. But you've made yourself invaluable, and now you belong to me. Before Noah could shout, Tristan's hand covered his mouth. The last thing Noah saw was Tristan's cold, predatory smile before the sting of a needle in his neck dragged him into darkness. Noah woke to the sensation of silk sheets beneath his skin and the faint scent of expensive cologne in the air. His head throbbed. His wrists were free, but when he tried to sit up, a firm hand pressed him back down. Tristan sat beside him on the massive bed, shirt sleeves rolled up, revealing strong forearms. His gaze sharpened when Noah's eyes fluttered open. Good, you're awake. Where am I? Noah's voice was raw. My estate. Tristan's tone was even, his fingers brushing Noah's temple. You're under my protection now. Noah's jaw tightened. You mean captivity? Tristan smiled faintly. Call it what you want. He leaned closer, his thumb tracing the curve of Noah's jaw. You made a mess. Now I'm going to clean it up. I'll expose you, Noah hissed. You already tried. Tristan's eyes flashed with amusement. Now the only thing left to decide is how long it will take for you to surrender. Noah's heart hammered as Tristan stood, adjusting the cuffs of his shirt. I suggest you get comfortable, Tristan said as he crossed to the door. Because you aren't leaving. The door closed behind him with a quiet click, leaving Noah alone with the terrifying knowledge that Tristan Wolfe wasn't just obsessed with him. He owned him. Chapter 2. The Obsession Deepens. Tristan watched from the floor to ceiling, windows of his private estate, a glass of whiskey resting between his long fingers. The room was dim, the faint glow of city lights reflecting off the glass. Behind him, Noah sat on the velvet armchair, wrists now unbound, but posture stiff like a cornered animal. You've been quiet, Tristan murmured without turning around. What do you expect me to say? Noah's voice was sharp, cutting through the silence. That I'm grateful you abducted me. Tristan smiled faintly, swirling the amber liquid in his glass. I expect you to understand why this is necessary. Noah scoffed. Necessary? You call this necessary? Tristan finally turned, his gray eyes gleaming with something dark and dangerous. He set the glass down on the marble counter and walked toward Noah, slow and deliberate. Noah's eyes narrowed as Tristan knelt in front of him, one hand bracing on the armrest beside Noah's hip. "You don't understand," Tristan said quietly. "From the moment I saw you, I knew." Noah's brows furrowed. "Saw me?" Tristan's gaze darkened. "It was 6 months ago. A charity gala. You weren't invited. You were sneaking around trying to dig up dirt on me." His hand brushed over Noah's thigh, and Noah tensed. "You were wearing that ridiculous waiter's uniform trying to blend in." Noah's lips parted. He hadn't realized Tristan had seen him. "You bumped into me," Tristan continued, his thumb grazing Noah's knee. "Spilled champagne all over my jacket. Do you remember what you said?" Noah swallowed hard. He remembered. "Sorry, sir. Didn't see you there." Tristan's hand slid up to Noah's jaw, forcing him to meet his gaze. "You didn't see me," Tristan murmured. "But I saw you. Big brown eyes, defiance in every line of your body. You didn't cower. You met my eyes and walked away." Noah's breath hitched. "And that's why you're doing this?" Tristan's thumb brushed over Noah's lower lip. "It's why I couldn't stop thinking about you. Why I watched every story you wrote. Why I knew you'd eventually come for me." His lips curled into a dangerous smile. "And now that I have you, I won't let you go." Noah jerked his head away, but Tristan's grip tightened. His other hand slid to Noah's hip, pulling him forward until their faces were only inches apart. "You're insane," Noah whispered. Tristan's eyes burned. "Possibly." "Do you honestly think I'd ever want you?" Noah hissed. Tristan's gaze darkened. "You will." Noah's heart hammered painfully as Tristan stood, releasing him. He turned toward the window again, his back tense. "You think this is obsession?" Tristan's voice was dangerously soft. "No, Noah. This is devotion." "You don't know what love is," Noah snapped. Tristan turned, his eyes sharp and dangerous. "You think so?" He stepped toward Noah again, his hand sliding along Noah's jawline. "Then let me make it clear." Noah's breath caught as Tristan leaned down and kissed him. It wasn't soft or hesitant, it was consuming. Tristan's lips were firm, his hand tangling in Noah's hair as he deepened the kiss. Noah's hands pressed against Tristan's chest, but Tristan didn't let go. When Tristan finally pulled back, Noah's breath was ragged, his lips burned. "I want you," Tristan whispered against his mouth, "not as a prisoner, as my husband." Noah's eyes widened. "What?" Tristan's gaze was sharp. "Marry me, Noah." "You're insane," Noah breathed. Tristan smiled. "Possibly," he repeated, "but I don't care. You're mine now, and soon, everyone else will know it too." Noah's mind raced. Tristan's obsession was dangerous, but beneath it lay something darkly sincere. He didn't just want Noah. He wanted to own him, claim him, possess him completely. "Go to hell," Noah whispered. Tristan's smile widened. "That's the plan, and you're coming with me." Chapter 3. The bond is sealed. The grand hall shimmered under the glow of golden chandeliers. Floor-to-ceiling windows framed the Parisian skyline, the city lights twinkling against the dark night. Velvet drapes of crimson and gold cascaded down the marble walls, and the scent of fresh roses mixed with the soft murmur of a classical orchestra. Noah stood at the end of the aisle, heart thudding painfully against his ribs. His hands were bound by cold, invisible chains disguised as the white silk of his suit. The silver cufflinks, Tristan's cufflinks, glinted under the soft light. Guests filled the room, powerful men and women from the upper echelons of business and crime. Mafia bosses, political leaders, CEOs, they were all there, faces carefully schooled into polite indifference. At the altar stood Tristan Wolfe, dressed in an immaculate black suit with a single crimson rose pinned to his chest. He watched Noah with a dark intensity that made it impossible to breathe. His gray eyes burned with quiet possession, his expression calm as if this was just another business transaction. Noah's hands curled into fists as the music swelled. He took a shaky step forward, then another, until he stood before Tristan. Tristan's hand extended, and Noah hesitated. Tristan's gaze sharpened, daring him to refuse. Noah's trembling hand slid into Tristan's larger one. The warmth of his skin burned through Noah's cold exterior. This isn't love, Noah reminded himself. It's control. But then again, I think I am having Stockholm Syndrome. Otherwise, why would I even marry that jerk? He again muttered to himself. And just as he was thinking all this to himself, the priest's voice was calls up steady as he began the vows. Noah barely heard them, his mind clouded by the weight of Tristan's hand pressing against his. I do, Tristan said smoothly when prompted. The priest turned to Noah. And do you, Noah Grayson, take Tristan Wolfe to be your lawfully wedded husband? Noah's mouth opened. I do, Tristan's voice cut through the priest's words. Noah's gaze snapped to him in disbelief. Tristan's lips curled faintly. His thumb brushed over the back of Noah's hand. He does. The crowd chuckled. The priest looked momentarily flustered but recovered quickly. You may now kiss the groom. Noah barely had time to react before Tristan's hand curled around his jaw, tilting his face up. Tristan's lips crashed down on his, the force of it stealing Noah's breath. The room erupted in polite applause as Tristan's hand slid around Noah's waist, anchoring him against his chest. Noah's hands pressed against Tristan's shoulders, but Tristan's grip only tightened. When Tristan finally pulled back, Noah's lips were swollen, his breath shallow. You're mine now, Tristan whispered against his mouth. Noah's heart raced. His fate had been sealed. That night, Noah's white suit lay in crumpled silk folds on the floor. Tristan's hands roamed his bare skin, rough and insistent, as he pressed Noah into the sheets. You hate me, Tristan whispered against his ear. Yes, Noah breathed, back arching as Tristan's mouth found the sensitive spot beneath his jaw. And yet, Tristan's hand slid down Noah's side, possessive and slow. You still let me touch you. Noah's fingers curled into Tristan's hair. His body betrayed him, aching for the man he swore to hate. Tristan's lips brushed his ear. Let me ruin you, Noah. Noah's breath hitched. Tristan's mouth claimed his again, deeper this time, hungry and demanding. His hands were everywhere, and Noah's resistance shattered as Tristan's body pressed against his. And when Tristan finally sank into him, Noah gasped, his hands clawing at Tristan's back. You're mine, Tristan whispered darkly against his throat. Forever. Noah shuddered beneath him, drowning in Tristan's dominance and his own treacherous desire. 1 month later, Noah sat at the edge of the porcelain bathtub, hand trembling as the test strip in his hand showed 2 pink lines. Pregnant. His breath hitched. His hand curled around his flat stomach. His mind raced. He was carrying Tristan Wolfe's child. No, he whispered, this can't be happening. Tristan would never let him go now. He'd already claimed him once. This would give Tristan complete control over him. Noah couldn't let that happen. That night, after Tristan left for a business trip, Noah packed a small bag. His hands were shaking as he slid the window open and climbed down onto the estate's garden wall. He slipped into the shadows of the night, breath hitching as he ran through the dense forest. The gates were just ahead. His heart hammered wildly as his hand brushed the cold iron. I'm disappointed, Noah. Noah froze. The shadows shifted, and Tristan emerged from the darkness. His gray eyes were cold and sharp under the moonlight. Noah's hand curled around the gate, but Tristan's hand was already closing around his wrist. How? Noah's voice was barely a whisper. Tristan smiled faintly. Did you really think I wouldn't anticipate this? His gaze dropped to Noah's abdomen. Especially after what I found this morning? Noah's heart stopped. You knew? I always know, Tristan said, his hand sliding down Noah's arm until his palm rested over Noah's stomach. My heir, our child. His thumb brushed over Noah's abdomen possessively. You won't control me, Noah hissed. Tristan's gaze sharpened. You think so? He pulled Noah's trembling body flush against his chest. You carry my child now. You'll never run from me again. Noah struggled, but Tristan's grip tightened. Let me go. Tristan's mouth brushed over his ear. Never. Tears burned Noah's eyes. His body trembled. Tristan's lips pressed against the corner of his mouth. "You belong to me, Noah," Tristan whispered. "And now, you always will." Chapter 4. Devotion. Noah woke to the sensation of warm hands brushing over his stomach. His eyes fluttered open to find Tristan sitting on the edge of the bed, shirt sleeves rolled up, gray eyes softened with quiet intensity. Tristan's hand lay splayed over Noah's abdomen, his touch reverent. "You're awake," Tristan murmured. His thumb brushed over Noah's bare skin. Noah's breath hitched. He wanted to pull away, but he didn't. His hand instinctively drifted toward Tristan's wrist, fingers brushing over the back of his hand. Tristan's gaze sharpened at the touch. "How are you feeling?" "Tired," Noah whispered. His other hand curled over his stomach. "And nauseous." Tristan's brow furrowed. "Should I call the doctor?" Noah shook his head. "It's normal." Tristan's hand lingered protectively on Noah's stomach. His gaze darkened. "I'm not going to let anything happen to you. Or our child." Noah's lips pressed into a thin line. "I didn't ask for this." Tristan's jaw tightened. "I know." He leaned down until his mouth brushed the shell of Noah's ear. "But I'm going to make it right." Noah's eyes narrowed. "And how exactly are you going to do that?" Tristan's gaze softened in a way Noah hadn't seen before. He took Noah's hand, pressing it over his chest, where his heartbeat thrummed beneath the thin fabric of his shirt. "I've done terrible things," Tristan admitted quietly. "I lied. I manipulated you. I took away your freedom." His fingers tightened around Noah's hand. "And I'd do it all again, if it meant keeping you safe." Noah's throat tightened. "But..." Tristan's thumb brushed over Noah's knuckles. "I won't make the same mistake twice. You don't have to love me, Noah, but I'll spend the rest of my life proving that I'm worthy of your love." Noah's breath hitched. Tristan's hand curled around Noah's stomach again. "I thought I needed to own you to keep you." His gaze darkened. "But now, I know the only way to keep you is to give you the choice to stay." Noah's heart pounded. "And if I walk away?" Tristan's lips twitched with a faint, sad smile. "Then I'll let you go." His hand slid over Noah's abdomen. "But you're carrying my child now. I'll protect you both until my last breath." Noah's chest squeezed painfully. Tristan's devotion was palpable, dangerous in its sincerity. His possessiveness hadn't vanished, but beneath it lay something deeper. "Love." "Why?" Noah whispered. "Why me?" Tristan's gaze sharpened. He brushed his knuckles down Noah's cheek, his eyes burning with quiet intensity. "Because you were never afraid of me," Tristan murmured. "Because when you looked at me, you didn't see a monster. You saw a man. And that made you dangerous." His mouth brushed Noah's temple. "I've built empires, destroyed nations. But you were the one thing I couldn't control." Noah's breath hitched as Tristan's hand cupped his jaw. "I don't deserve you," Tristan whispered. "But that won't stop me from trying." Noah's chest ached. His hands curled into Tristan's shirt. He hated this, hated the way his heart softened at Tristan's words. "I hate you," Noah whispered. Tristan's lips curled faintly. "Do you?" Noah's gaze faltered. He hated Tristan for what he'd done, but his body betrayed him every time Tristan touched him. His heart thudded painfully when Tristan looked at him with such raw devotion. Tristan's lips hovered over Noah's. "Tell me to stop," he whispered. "And I will." Noah's mouth parted, but no words came out. Tristan's lips brushed over his, a soft, lingering touch, asking, not taking. Noah's hands trembled as they slid up Tristan's chest, curling into his shirt. Slowly, hesitantly, Noah kissed him back. Tristan's breath hitched. His arms wrapped around Noah, pulling him close, deepening the kiss with aching tenderness. It wasn't possessive. It was careful, reverent. When Tristan finally pulled back, his forehead rested against Noah's. "I love you," Tristan whispered. Noah's heart hammered. He couldn't say it back, not yet. But something inside him shifted. "I need time," Noah whispered. Tristan smiled faintly. "Then I'll give you eternity." 1 week later, Noah stood at the balcony overlooking the garden. Tristan's hand rested on his waist as they watched the sun set over the horizon. "You've been quiet," Tristan murmured. "I'm thinking." Noah's hand brushed over his stomach. "About everything." Tristan's hand slid protectively over his. "And?" Noah's gaze softened. "I don't know if I can forgive you." "I understand." But Noah's fingers tightened around Tristan's hand. "I think I could try." Tristan's eyes widened. His hand curled around Noah's waist, pulling him closer. "I'm not ready to say I love you," Noah whispered. Tristan's gaze darkened. "That's enough for me." Noah's lips curled faintly. "For now." Tristan's mouth brushed against his hair. "I'll make sure it's enough forever." Noah's heart fluttered. His hand slid over his stomach, and Tristan's hand covered his immediately. "Promise me one thing," Noah said quietly. "Anything. Don't control me," Noah whispered. "Let me choose you." Tristan's gaze softened. He leaned down until his lips brushed over Noah's temple. "I promise," Tristan murmured. "But I'll make sure you'll never want to leave." Noah's heart raced. His chest ached as Tristan's arms tightened around him, his hand resting over the life growing between them. Noah didn't fully love Tristan, not yet. But as the sun set behind them and Tristan's heartbeat thrummed against his back, he thought maybe one day he could return those three worlds to him genuinely.